let's see. All right. And then, all right, I think we should be feeding out to folks. Um, Now, where exactly am I going to see the chat? I'm going to see the chat over on. I have to go to Utreon to see whatever chat we have going, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Um, let's see if I can. All right. So I need to mute that first of all, so we don't get feedback. All right. So there we go. And all right. It looks like, yeah, I do see a chat here. So far it looks like we have Jade Grew. Obviously, we've got Edward Brower, Thomas Mueller, 42 Chill, Bricks, LV Louis Cipher, Night Train, Mech AG 94 says Audi. Howdy, not Audi. I've got Audi on my mind. Let me see if I can get see if I can get this camera to lock focus here or focus a little bit better. Okay, all right. I think we have this going here. So let me just start off with this. Welcome to the Who Moved My Freedom podcast, live for the first time from the Utreon platform. So welcome to everyone. If you don't know, or even if you do know, I'm going to say it again. You need to go to hankstrange.com. That's the place to find out all the info that you need to know from us. You can find all the different ways to support us on there, links and things like that that you're looking for that we can't, for various reasons, we can't put on different platforms. I don't think we're going to have those kinds of problems here on Utreon, but we'll find all that out as the show goes on here. So from now on, we're doing this live on Utreon as long as we can. All right, so go to hankstrange.com. Big shout out to everyone there. I'm going to load my guest here. We've got Edward Brower, the CEO of Utreon, joining us. Uh, Big thank you to Barnauls Performance Steel Case Ammunition for sponsoring the show. I am going to hit the open and we're going to get all up in this.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us
Lifestyles
here.
of a Locked
Make
LOD.
sure you subscribe. I don't know if there's thumbs ups or anything. Like, what kind of stuff do we have on Utreon? I usually
So
tell
there's
people to.
like up likes, down likes,
Okay.
or dislikes, I guess. And we have subscriptions
Okay, there you go. All right,
and
so
follow.
okay. As I said before, this is the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. It's episode 832. So, Edward, we do this thing called Jazz Hands here with every show. That's what we do for good luck. Thank you very much for joining in. Jazz Hands, I hope you guys have your big girl panties on out there. The title of the show is Talking Tech Censorship and Guns with Utreon CEO Edward Brower. This is the Who Moved My Freedom podcast, as I've said already. First time live on Utreon. And let me see. I'm going to see if I can somehow open up a page so I could see at the same time that we're doing this, if I could see the comments from everyone here. All right. So if I'm a little distracted, don't worry about that. Okay, someone said, show your guns. Show us your guns. Um, so the chat kind of went away. It was there and then it went away. Do I need to refresh my page maybe?
So there's actually a little arrow at the top. You can expand or unexpand that.
Oh, okay. Um, Hold on. I don't think I hit the right arrow. Oh, I see it. So there's a way. Is there a way to break it out?
We're gonna have that by next week.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see what we've got going on here. Cruiseman says, "Hey dudes." Kathleen Music Lovers out there. She says, "Hey all." So someone says yes to the left to the bottom. So there is a comment. Let me see. I'm going to comment in here. Yeah, we'll get all of this figured out. I'm sure that it's going to get better and improve with time here. Ed, what should I call you? Edward?
Uh,
What was that? I missed that.
Ed
Ed?
works.
Okay, Ed, welcome to the show. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and Utreon. Let's start there before Lola starts texting me to find,
Yes.
giving me instructions.
So my background has been, running tech companies or doing apps and stuff like that. Um, about 2 years ago, we started a little over. We started Utreon. The idea is to create something for creators. One that's better than Patreon, and two, start doing the kind of stuff Patreon doesn't do, but and like live streaming, for example, ultra chats, which are kind of like super chats, and just features that YouTube, both Patreon and YouTube.
Hmm.
So yeah, the idea was to create a better, and also another part of the ideas was just having better policies. So for example, YouTube, they don't really let you interesting with firearms. You can't, let alone fire one. Um, so yeah, like we just think there's this big opportunity. YouTube isn't really sweating the details. Big maybe it's because they're owned by Google. There's probably, but yeah, we think we can just provide service to you guys.
Okay, awesome. And so I know the first thing that I saw when I signed up for this, or when I was starting this, I saw there is a part there where we're supposed to tell you guys like what we're doing in the video. What are you guys using that info for? Do you have, like if I say, oh, this is going to be guns, do I get in trouble? Does my video get suppressed? I guess that would be my
No,
question.
so we have something called the content rating system. The
Mm-hmm.
questionnaire, and it's asking you what's in the video, meaning, am I using a lot of words? Is there going to be some violence, let's say? Is there going to be, I don't know, any number of things. And information is we're generating two things. We're generating content descriptors. So it's kind of like when you watch an HBO show and
Mm-hmm.
it's this has graphic language or stuff like that. So we'll generate descriptors like that. So generate an age for the, and the purpose of those information, the age and the content descriptor, is one, so that users filter what they want to see. And eventually when we have advertisers to be able to target their advertising, whatever's appropriate. So for example, Coca-Cola and Disney might not be interested in that on gun videos, but maybe a honey or I don't know, a beer company problem. So basically, we have way better metadata than YouTube even keep about what the videos are, and it's not for the impression or anything. It's actually just for people to filter in a directed way, and also for ad to direct their advertising eventually.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to see if the chat is still there. I know someone said that they lost the chat. What's an easy way for us to? Because I know that's one thing that we don't have here yet. What's the easiest way for me to be able to see the chat at the same time without having a whole bunch of windows open?
Um, Probably keep uh, being distracted right now by the actual video itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could just keep the window off screen so that the chat part is the only thing you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to. We are going to make it so that again next week, the ability to pop out the chat,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
I
it could
see.
be the chat is
Mm-hmm.
the chat is wrapping to the bottom if you're making the thin,
Mm-hmm.
because it just goes in mobile.
Okay. Yeah. So there may be some issues with that. I'm gonna try to keep up with it and see what's going on. I see Lola's in there. I see Flying Rich is in there. I think. So how long has Utreon been around? How long has this platform been around?
So we started in the company in September 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We launched a little over, meaning having subscriptions and really urging creators to come over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've been operating for like a year now, and launched the live streaming feature a couple months ago. Um, and so yeah, like there's a few companies that are sort of competing. They're trying to terms.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to have started several years ago. We're probably the newest.
Mm-hmm.
Difference is, we're actually targeting Patreon,
Okay.
because something like a video platform work effect, it actually makes more sense to target What we do for creators is, one, we have lower rates. Second thing is we actually, for the first 3 months of every subscription, it's just zero fees. So not even process. So, for example, we have a calculator for creators page, and creators can actually keep a lot more of my revenue. And obviously the users that want to support creators. So we think we did something in terms of the pricing model there. Same thing for the live stream. We have ultra chats that are at 15%. YouTube charges 30%. It's way better to use Utreon.
Okay, so there will be fees for this. I'm taking it.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So not fees for like the video itself. It's just, for example, on YouTube you have super chats, and YouTube takes 10%. We have ultra chats, and they're 15%. The fees, just like on YouTube, of course, it costs money to run everything.
Right.
Lot lower.
Okay. So there's no fees for the content creators to sign up, but and just correct me if I'm getting it wrong here, but if people do give super chats or they subscribe to a channel and obviously you collect money, you will take a percentage of that, but you're saying it'll be a lower percentage than what YouTube's taking.
Correct. You use 30% on memberships. Patreon takes between the processing and their platform. On a $5 payment, they'll take 9%. Between platform and processing, we take 11.9, so 5% less than Patreon. And this is assuming the Pro plan, which everybody uses. And for the our Ultra Chats versus YouTube Chats, we take half. Instead of 30, we take 15. So yeah, we're just very competitive on the price and on the policy. There's no comparison. We actually handle firearms, which is a very big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the reason. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here, and I will be showing off some stuff because I know people are already asking, like, "Oh, show us the gun?" So here, we'll do it. Look, I'll just show you guys a magazine. We'll start with a magazine. Who knows what it is I have over here? You guys could tell me. I cannot see the chat. I'm gonna ask Lola to just tell me what the questions are that folks have out there. But right there, let me know. You guys can let us know if you know what this is going into. Let me know, and I'll try. I'm trying to see the chat here. I'm trying to figure out a way that I could have, because it's a whole page that's open here. So I'm trying to figure out how I can see this at the same time, like have the page open. Because remember, I'm using actually mobile internet to see all of this. So.
Are you in the channel manager, or are you on the video itself?
I think I'm on the video. I believe I'm on the video. I might have the channel manager also open. Should I close that?
It shouldn't make a difference, but if you have a full screen window with the video, you should be able to see the chat on the right side.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have to be full screen. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, so you have to have the only problem is it's like appearing and then disappearing for me. So it'll be there for a second, and I'm using, what is this? I'm using Safari. I don't know if that makes any difference.
It should be good with Safari. Maybe you can try Chrome. I don't think it would make a very big difference, though.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can minimize this and try. Do I even have Chrome? I don't know if I have Chrome on this. Let's see. I'll take a look around here and see if I have. Or you know what? I'll try Firefox. See if that works at all. I'll try the Firefox. As I said, we're going to have some growing pains getting all of this stuff working. So hopefully you guys will bear with us as we go through all of this. Let's see. And I should probably even be able to share my screen. So let's see. I'm going to do a screen sharing thing right now. Boom. Okay, so if you Google Who Moved My Freedom, okay, there's the Utreon page, and then if I scroll down here, this should be the video. I guess I could just press play, mute it, and then there should be a chat going on over here. So there's the chat here on the side. This one looks a little bit more stable. Now, if I pause this video here, will I still see the chat as it pops up? Now it's like an infinite loop. I'm seeing I'm seeing a page inside of a page inside of a page.
Could you make the browser wider?
Smaller?
Wider, so.
Oh, wider. Here we go. Right there.
That's...
Yeah. Yeah. So I do see the. So Thomas Mueller says Utreon Android app will support live streams, which is what you said. Flying Rich wants to see Gorn. Miss K says 9mm. Yes, it is a 9mm. 42 Chilled says it's a STG 44. Nope. Let's see. Rayford Gunn says awesome. Hopefully this catches on. I hope so too. I hope it does catch on and more people take advantage of this. Now, I'm gonna go through Lola's. Yeah, look at that infinite loop there. That's okay. Let's go back. Let's go back to this here for a second. So, let me actually go through Lola's. So wait, Lola has a question from someone. She says, "Does the app not work for live stream? Tried the Utreon app and nothing." That's from Hillbilly out there. So, yeah, you can go ahead and explain that. I think you spoke to me a little bit before we started about
Yeah,
that.
so the apps are going to have the live stream. Android first is going to have it by next week, and iOS should have it in roughly 2 weeks.
Yeah. So there you go. All of this stuff is going to get worked out. So right now we'll have to go back to like the Stone Age of doing things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
which is
on a
fine.
desktop, and I just demo. I just did your first Ultra Chat.
Oh, okay. There was an Ultra Chat. I didn't know. Let me see. So what do I do with the Ultra Chats? Let's see. Does it show up here? Hold on one second. Oh, okay. So how do I show this now? That's the thing. Hold on. Let's see. We'll go back, and I'll have to share the page again. Let's see if we can get the page shared on here. Let's see. Is it okay? So it should share. I'm assuming now that it's sharing. Right? There we go. Yeah. So there you go, Edward Brower. There we go. It's popping on and off again here now, even on Firefox for some reason. But I saw it there for a second, so it's like a big flashy green thing that showed up.
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
Thomas is saying refresh, fix it.
Okay, refresh. Okay, let me hit the refresh. And there you go. So I see this right up here. Boom. Nice infinite loop from Edward Brower. There you go. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And there's the chat. So refresh, I guess, does fix some things. Okay, I'm going to stop teasing everyone and do a little... Okay, so here's the gun that I'm going to share with you guys. So first of all, I don't think anyone figured out what magazine this is. So this gun has been like on my bucket list for a long time. This has been on my bucket list for a long time. The whole time that I've been a gun guy on YouTube doing this, I've always, and let's see, I think I kind of have one. It's not the same. It's a different one here on this shirt. It's not the same exact thing. But I've always wanted my own MP5. Look at that. Oh, delicious. Awesomeness. So there we go. Let's see. Is it going to focus here? Let's see. Okay, that's Lola coming in and out. So check that out. Now, for anyone who's been watching on the show, my MP5 was put together by Richard Hoffman of BWE Firearms. This basically, the SWAT team, a local SWAT team, I'm not allowed. I got in trouble because I said what SWAT team it was. Let's just put it as a local SWAT team had these MP5s that they were using. They were machine guns, and then they had to be, cut down and destroyed, the receivers and all that kind of stuff. So we got new receivers, built back up the gun off of that, and man, Richard Hoffman did a great job. Now I've got my own red dot. I've got a red dot thing on there that you see right there. Got a red dot on there. It's co-witnessed. This is beautiful, and that's what this magazine goes into. So there you go. I got a bunch of these magazines from Barnauls, by the way. So There you go. Now, I was never able to actually show this live on YouTube. We did this months ago. I think somewhere around the beginning of the year. We did this, Edward, and I was never able to come on here and show it to people. YouTube came up with this crazy rule that while we're live, we can't show guns. Of course, I'm a professional. There's no ammo in there for people who are worried about it. And the gun is clear, but we can show it again. That it feels weird. I don't know. It feels weird to be able, like, I used to be able to do this, and now I can't do it. One of the cool features of this is right on here. So it's got. Let me see if I can get that to focus with both of us. So you could actually put a 3-lug on here, but also it's threaded. So it's threaded and 3-lug. So that's for the people. This is a lot of threads on it, though. It's a lot of threads, as you can see right here. I'm still twisting. There you go. Okay. So it's threaded and it's got a 3-lug. I was never able to show it on here. We do have a video, or actually a few videos up on YouTube, and you guys can talk to Richard Hoffman. He's got some videos and pictures and all that kind of good stuff of putting this together. But yeah, this has been a long time in the making. I'm pretty happy to have this. And as we go on here, I'll talk to you guys about some other stuff. I was trying to get Patrick and Walter to come on here as well. I think Patrick has a very important dinner with his wife that he made those plans ahead of time. And we may get Walter. I don't know. We're working on it. We'll see whether or not we get Walter. All right, so I asked you this off camera, but I'll ask you again. Are you a gun guy?
So I'm a total novice. I actually just took the safety course and I'm going to be applying with RCMP.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, very nice. That's not required. Like, for me personally, it's not required that you be a gun guy. I just think that, it's weird, and I was going to talk about tech censorship and all that in this. It's weird that, we're doing something that's protected by the Second Amendment. We're not doing anything illegal. There's lots of people that do bad, illegal things out there. But it's just weird to me that there's so much censorship in the direction of the gun community and gun guys, and I just wish that more CEOs, more of the people out there running these platforms, believe truly in freedom instead of trying to push their own agendas on folks out there. So
Yeah, I think a lot of the platform of California, Silicon,
hmm
and yeah, they just don't guns very favorably.
hmm
Policy is probably dictated by advertisers.
hmm
And yeah, I mean, I don't think they're really are trying to understand, firearms. Like
hmm
they it, and they're probably inclined not to like them.
Yeah, yeah. So let's try to. Okay, I'm gonna have more guns. We'll show more stuff to you guys. Lola brought a bunch of stuff in here. I'm gonna try to go through this. So I think I asked what makes Utreon different already, right? If not, you could take a run at that question again. But that's from Lola. What
Well,
makes
so
Utreon different than everyone else?
so of being a substitute for pay, like we just do so much more than Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
For the creator, there's and also the benefits. The rates are much lower. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
one thing is we actually host all content. You have your channel. We do a lot, a better job than YouTube in the data. So, your description is just going to be a wall of text. We went through the trouble of making it so you pull content and we'll display it beautifully, and you can channel
Mm-hmm.
links and we'll display those properly. We've really ourselves in terms of creating something that as a video platform and also something that was as a Patreon replacement.
Okay.
And
So you want us to use this instead of Patreon, right? And then
yeah,
just get
and
having that extra added benefit of being able to post our videos directly on your platform.
yeah, exactly. And one, it's making you resilient against your eggs in the basket of Google.
Mm-hmm.
Patreon is not very dissimilar in terms of ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
And it's letting you actually, YouTube, they used to have a lot more features that were oriented. They used to have it so you can direct message users. They used to
Hmm.
have it so that you could friend people. We don't have those features yet, but we're building. We
Okay.
really want to build the one that's your home base where you have everything, your videos, your live stream, where you have your community engagement. We're
Okay.
working toward. So our vision is really that lets you, as a creator or your engaged users who's really support across all those different products, and just create that's much better and ultimately just has way better policy.
Okay. So what's the engine behind all of this? Like what how is this something that you guys wrote from scratch? I guess I just want to know like what powers this platform? Are you on the blockchain? Let's say the other guys find out that we're over here doing stuff. Is it going to be easy to take you guys down? Just that kind
No.
of behind the scenes stuff.
So everything is being done. So first, sure, our CTO Thomas Mueller, he's a total pro. He's protected this thing to
Hmm.
be completely so, whereas services, they might be caught in using Amazon's products. Let's say they're using Amazon because a lot of companies use Amazon for the servers, for the hosting and the infrastructure. They'll fall into the trap of using, example, serverless features like LAMP. The problem there is you're starting to use specific tech, and if you have a problem with Amazon, well, it's very difficult to move. Using a technology called Kubernetes, we're spinning images for everything we're doing. We built everything with a mind to being super resilient,
Hmm.
so that we're not at the mercy of Amazon and potentially their policies. We can really move to a different cloud architecture or and ultimately are to actually go through the capital investment to actually our own servers and
Okay.
just be ultimately as resilient as possible. So
Yeah. So
we've always had
you're not on blockchain basically,
no,
but
no.
you are able to move the servers from one place to another if someone like threatened you guys with shutting it down or something.
Correct. We're extremely mobile.
Hmm.
We can ultimately the goal is to actually build our own solution anyway. We're
Hmm.
cost effective.
Okay.
So for a product that that isn't using massive bandwidth and storage, it
Hmm.
might not make sense to stuff. You might want to ultimately always cloud solution. In our
Hmm.
case, it'll eventually make sense to our own server
Hmm.
infrastructure.
Okay. Yeah, it's I mean that's got to be expensive.
So
you know.
it is and it isn't. It's
Okay.
for in terms of storage, we calculate about 2.5 months your break even point for
Hmm.
storage.
Okay.
It really ultimately does make sense to set up our own stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're going there. The cost, for that it just makes sense. It's not a cost problem.
Okay. And then the advertisers, what kind of advertisers do you guys come have on board right now? And what's your projections with the advertisers? Do you think it's going to be the traditional advertising fare that's out there, let's say for YouTube and other platforms, or are you going to like alternative sources for that?
So the way ad tech works is you do have off solutions that you could use to actually set up an ad quickly.
Hmm.
In our case, we're eventually doing that next year
Hmm.
at some point. Right now, with the gun, it's this weird situation where there's a lineup of people that want to advertise. They sell guns directly. I've spoken to from CN Arsenal, who
Hmm.
your audience might
Matthias.
know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
Tobias. Yeah, and he's
Hmm.
been basically explaining like, look, we have these they want to advertise. They can't direct gun sales on YouTube because of YouTube policies.
Right.
So you have this situation where you have the demand for the ads and you have the supply for the ads, but a deal can happen on YouTube. So we're ready, spring loaded, I would say.
Hmm.
We have contacts. We've spoken to tons of manufacturers, Brownells,
Okay.
contacts that has and yeah, like we're ready to do next year, actually.
Oh, so you guys are actually already having conversations with the firearms
Yeah,
industry. Oh, that's good. Okay.
100%. I went to the range day event about a month ago.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Iraq veteran.
yeah,
Okay. All
and
right.
we met a lot of them. They're interested in advertising,
Mm-hmm.
and there's two different things we want to do. One of them is just traditional advertising, like you have on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that might be interesting, probably more interesting, actually, ad reads. So right now, if you've listened to podcasts, you've heard sponsored by Squarespace. This is sponsored by Auto, whatever.
Right.
Those are all ad hoc deals that are happening. What we want to do is actually create a self-serve platform where Barnauls can create a campaign, and then they're eligible, meaning their channel is in the fire category or history category, maybe. They could actually sign up for that, get the payload in terms of the ad read, do the ad read, get stamps. We take care of everything, type thing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we think that would be nobody's doing that. I think that'd be an amazing product.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I would like to see more of that kind of stuff. You know, it's weird on YouTube when I first started. And I think it still happens. So you could be a YouTube channel on YouTube, and you could actually pay YouTube to advertise yourself against other people's channels.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's still going on, except gun guys can't do that. So let's say I'm a gun guy on YouTube and I want to pay to advertise against whoever it is that looks at Military Arms Channel or Rock Veteran or Mr. Guns and Gear, the big guys out there, or CN Arsenal or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that those people's audience could be my audience too if they just knew about me. So if I had enough, whatever the money is, I don't know, and I paid it to YouTube, I could actually advertise, and people can get, they could see a sample of the kind of stuff that's on my channel. YouTube doesn't even let you do that. You can't.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. But again, they're just not the details, obviously.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it makes no sense, and that's good. That creates openings for us, and
absolutely. Yeah.
we think we can overtake them on all things. And I mean, even with live streaming. So first of all, they charge a lot for the super chats, 30%.
Mm-hmm.
We do 15.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, which we're actually deploying later this week, is a collaboration feature.
Okay.
Meaning, you can, let's say I was another creator. Let's say I'm Ian from Forgotten Weapons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He could come in. You guys set a split, like revenue split on the stream,
Okay.
and let's say you have all that's coming in. His split never even hits your gross. You both have different revenue streams coming in, and that's a feature YouTube doesn't have.
That's cool.
But for us, it was actually Matthias's idea, and
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. And I think it's going to be very viral. Imagine inviting bigger some of the big guys to come on, Tim from Mac, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
it'd be huge.
Yeah. 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 Military Arms Channel pulls a bunch of people over there, but it's an incentive. Like, he doesn't go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go on live with Hank Strange, and everyone's gonna come over there because I'm there, and then I don't get anything out of it. He's not like that. To be honest with you, he's been on my show a bunch of times, but it's still a good incentive for folks to come on. Like, I get something out of it, and deservedly he gets something out of it for doing that, right? So let's say, I know there's a hierarchy, right, of how many followers people have, and I respect that. Folks work hard to get all those followers. So let's say Mac, being a person that has a bigger following than mine, that's an incentive for him to come on do stuff with me. There may be folks who have a smaller following than I do. That's an incentive for me to go on with those guys and do stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's a great idea.
And we think it's going to be viral, and it's going to be such a great way to get new creators to come on and use the system and get revenue in the system, and then it's going to click.
Yeah, no one loses. You get to see your favorite people hanging out, and people, cross promoting and working with each other. So that's great. I like that idea. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. When are you guys putting that into effect?
It should be tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow. Okay. All right. Let me see if I'm missing out on any comments from folks out there. Let me see. I may have to refresh this page again to see. Let's see what we got going on here in the chat. Okay, let's see. Yeah.
People are asking if I'm Canadian.
Yeah. Where are you from, and where are you Well, I don't know if you want to tell us where you're located, but you mentioned that a lot of folks in Silicon Valley. Where are you guys based, and where are you from?
Sort of everywhere.
Hmm.
So we're all remote right now.
Okay.
I'm in Toronto. I am Canadian, so people are
Hmm.
asking in the chat. Utreon itself is actually C corp, and reason incorporated in the U.S. is there's the First Amendment, so
Hmm.
just it just makes total sense to
Hmm.
where you have the First Amendment,
Hmm.
and or C corp is just because that's the best place to incorporate. In the states in
Okay.
general, I think they have more corporate people.
Yeah, you guys don't have the First Amendment over in Canada.
Exactly, they don't.
Yeah, lots of people will be surprised at places around the world that seem like civilized, like, bastions of civility and civilization, and they don't have the First Amendment extended to people, including England. And, I think that Canada is very closely related to a British system of government, right?
Yeah, it's in many ways it resembles, but
Hmm.
you can way in between in many respects.
Hmm. Yeah, let's see what yeah, I know the chat is going in and out. I could see some people talking about that. Let's see.
Thomas identified what the problem is. We thing for chat replay later on
Okay.
once the video becomes a video and not a stream.
Yeah.
So that's what's we'll have that fixed probably
Yeah,
tomorrow.
LV Louis Cipher is saying, can the word filter be disabled? So you guys have a word filter?
Yeah, we have a word filter right now.
Hmm.
On adding more quality in terms of reducing how strong it is and even
Okay.
disabling together.
Okay. All right. Is there the ability there for to add moderators? So one of the things that I have on YouTube when I do the chat is we've assigned some people to be moderators, and they can watch out for those kinds of things, or if people decide to come in and troll us and all that. Do you guys have that
Yeah,
kind of stuff set up yet?
yeah. So we were actually discussing that at a staff meeting, and
Hmm.
we expect that to be deployed next week.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. What is the reason that I can't see the chat feed through here like it would if I was doing YouTube? Is that based on my software? What's the reason for
The
that?
chat feed you the
Say that again?
the chat feed where on
Yeah,
itself
so
or
in other words, yeah, the chat feed is over there. I know before when I was broadcasting to YouTube, the chat feed would actually come through. So I'm using Ecamm. That's the software I'm using for anyone who's interested, and I'm doing this off of a Mac. And I didn't have to go to YouTube to see the chat before. It would actually feed through. Now,
so Ecamm was showing you that.
yes.
Okay, so it might be that Ecamm has an integration with YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going through. It was a more direct integration versus how we're doing this here, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna look into that.
Hmm.
Be that we just have to contact Ecamm and agree with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, even it would be cool, and I don't know if this is, I'm just spitballing here, and I'm not really a tech guy, but it would be cool if there was an app where I could just even see the comments while I'm live, right? Like I don't necessarily need to see other stuff. If I could see the comment somewhere else on my phone or whatever, it would just make it. I know one of the things about how I do the podcast is that the audience I feel is like part of the show. We're almost like Cheers. Everyone. I want to be where everyone knows my name. So we have folks who come in here all the time and hang out with us, and they ask, I think, sometimes good questions. Sometimes they're a little cray cray. you know but they usually ask good questions, and they contribute to the show. So even now as I'm trying to do this and I'm paying attention, and I think even we're having some stutters here and the thing because I have too many windows open. I think a way to see the chat would be really easy, especially if I could separate it off into something, and have that
Yeah, we're
go through a different internet.
um yeah we're gonna have pop out chat by next. So you'll be able to have a window with just the chat. And right now again for the chat, there is right now a bug
Hmm.
apparently causing people to need to refresh.
Mm-hmm.
That ironed out by tomorrow.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Asper Warrior says this UI is weird. No chat while watching? Question mark. Chat hides everything on mobile web. Mobile app doesn't play live video. Yeah, they are working on that.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of folks that use mobile. That's another thing. I think right now we should try to find out, for everyone who's watching us and commenting here in the chat, let us know if you typically watch using your phone, in other words, mobile, or you use a computer, or you do it off your TV. I don't know if that would be something interesting for you to learn, Edward, but I would be interested to know how most folks out there, um, how you guys usually watch and listen. And I'll take a look and I'll see, see what you guys say. And I'll also see here if I could, let me see, I'll try to feed that in. We'll screen capture there again for a second. Um, Imposter says Hank's not a tech guy. No way. Okay, you know what? I, I'm, I, I'm an old tech guy. That's the problem. you know, I've been using tech for a long time, so I'm not keeping up with exactly everything that's going on, but that's pretty much how I do it. Miss K says computer. There you go. Cruiseman says PC. Jade Grew says desktop. Kathleen Music Lover computer. Lola Strange says MacBook. Night Train on an iMac. Imposter says iPad. Oh, interesting, interesting. Sandman 104 says computer. Asper Warrior says I only use mobile or TV. Okay, so there you go. One for mobile. Well, no, we got two because someone's using iPad. Louis LB Louis Cipher says depends on what I'm doing on a given day. Typically computer. 42 Chilled says space station. See, I told you there's some. Mech AG94 says phone for listening. Computer if I want to chat. So yeah, okay, interesting. That is an interesting bit of information there from everyone. And for the folks who are, if you guys are watching this later or whatever, continue. What do you think about that? What do you think? I think it was mostly computer, right?
Yeah. So mobile is very important, and we're playing the live streaming next week for
Mm-hmm.
and then iOS.
Mm-hmm.
In general, when we implement features, we implement first, and then we will have them play on the mobile apps that are important.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, we launched live streaming just in September,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we've been working on it and improving it, and really looking forward to having the there. And it's good that everybody's on. Usually the best experience, but yeah, we
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, listen, by no means am I complaining. Obviously, people are used to certain bells and whistles from having YouTube, but if you participate in the thing, which is what I'm doing by doing this, you guys are extending the platform to folks like myself, and then I'm getting on board and actually showing up here and doing it, and then the folks out there actually showing up and consuming or partaking or however you want to look at it with this. Eventually all those things coming together, that's how we make stuff happen and make it better, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's see. I don't know if did you have any questions? Was there anything you want to know from us, Edward? Let's do that.
Yeah,
What can,
so
yeah.
I would say, it's good that I like the reaction to the every great reaction to the collaboration feature.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really looking forward to that. And yeah, I think that's something that would be great to start getting the bigger guys in
Mm-hmm.
and using that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like for your channel, you're on Patreon. That's sort of the normal setup everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you don't quite have a Discord. What are you
Yeah.
doing for community? Like, are you using Reddit, Discord? What are you using?
Um so other than just the regular social media that's out there, I'm doing a couple things. Let me see if I have a Discord. I think I have a Discord account. Okay, I do have the Discord app. Let me see if I'm just looking on my phone here to see if I have if I have a specific way of, I don't even know if I have a login for that Discord. Because I know I signed up for it. Actually, Babyface told me about it, and then I was like, oh, okay. I guess I have to go create this thing, but then I didn't use it. Okay, so I do have a Discord. It looks like I don't use it. Typically, what I actually have it's kind of old school. I actually have another phone number on my phone. I have something called Super Chat, Superphone. You ever heard of Superphone?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. It's like a, it's a phone for lack of a better word, but it works through an app and it gives me a phone number and people could text me on there or even call me on there, but it's actually on my phone. So when people
Mm.
text me, it texts through to my phone. Or if they call me, it rings through to my phone. And I've been using that for a while, but there's just so many things. I know my kids use Discord a lot, so I probably need to get up on there because that's the new hip thing for everyone to do, I guess. It's been out there for a while though.
Yeah, so a lot of YouTubers are using it for their community to be able to talk to each other.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we're working on creating integrations with it actually,
Okay,
and
so I should start using it. You're saying?
probably I would. And
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
eventually we want to actually build that feature, competitive and can make Utreon be all encompassing.
Okay,
Um, to bring home base for creators.
okay. So let me see. I don't know. Let me see. How do I? I haven't used it in a while. It's asking me about student hubs. What the hell is that?
No idea.
I don't know why it's asking me about student hub stuff. Okay, so I believe that I'm Hank Strange on Discord for anyone who's looking into it. So I am on Discord. It's Hank Strange on Discord for anyone who is interested in doing that. And I guess I need to just go in there and make something on there, like make up a group or something like that, right? Is that what people do?
Yeah, set up a server. So Tim from Mac actually set that up. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this last week,
Mm-hmm.
and Matthias and me kind of helped them start setting up.
So what do you just go in there and go what plus use the plus thing and that makes a server?
Yep.
Okay, so create my own. Oh, okay. Let me see. I can actually, if I share this, is it going to show any? If I'm already signed in, is it going to show anything that I don't want to show? I don't
I
know.
don't think
Other.
so,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Let me see. I'll just create it here. So it says, tell us more about your server. Is it for a club or a community, or is it for me and my friends? Here, I'll just show you guys
community.
real quick. See that? So we're going with community, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll just call it Hank Strange server.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess um, okay, it wants to take a picture. Let's see. Um, I will. I gotta choose a photo now. Oh man, this just got complicated. I gotta choose. Let me see. I'm gonna show all these pictures here. Which one do you guys like? Out of all these pictures, do you like? Oh, there's this laser. I got the laser. Oh, what about this one? Oh yeah, that looks sexy. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that. There we go. Boom. Okay, so Hank Strange server. There you go. Create it. Boom. Okay, so now we got a server. I don't know what we're doing with
So
that, but yeah.
Sandman 104 is saying, Hank, don't make it open, meaning invite only.
Oh, why? Why is that? Is that the way to go with those? If it's open, do people come in there and start trolling it?
Very possible. So
Oh,
the
so now I
best
got to go back?
I I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know how to do that. Um, huh. I don't, I'm not really sure how to go back there and do that. Or how. Sandman, tell us if we already created it, how do we go back and make it invite only? There's probably a way that you could go back and,
Or maybe edit settings or something.
yeah, it says invite your friends. Da, 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 da.
It's probably closed by default. I would
Yeah, I
assume.
think it is. I think it is because it says invite your friends. So everyone who has Discord needs to go there and follow me or something, right? And then I invite them, I'm guessing.
Yeah, by giving them that invite link. But
Yeah.
uh, you
Yeah.
might want to paste it in the chat, possibly.
Um. Yeah.
Or
Let me
actually,
see.
no, because then everybody will get access to the chats. Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got to figure that out. We'll work. We'll keep working on it. We'll keep working on it. See, this is how. Yeah. Progress is slow. But I made the first step. See, at least I had one. What can I say?
Yeah, and for the going back to so for the creators that have like really big Patreons, so like 3,000, 4,000,
Mhm.
the strategy there is to basically tell viewers going forward, if you want to support the channel,
Mhm.
it's better if you subscribe through Utreon. We keep more of you can even mention the 3 months thing. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Right. Yeah. So I do have a Patreon and I do have people who support me on there, but there's so many different things to keep up with people and it's very tough. Like we've got the main Hank Strange channel, we've got the podcast channel. I do van videos or I've got a separate channel that I do car stuff on and it's tough to keep up with everyone, but I like the idea of Utreon that it's kind of several of those things rolled in. So let's say here on the Who Moved My Freedom page that we have for Utreon, if that's where we every day, broadcast to folks and talk to people and put things on there, it helps make it a little bit easier so you're not now trying to juggle and manage, I don't know, 30, 40 different platforms.
Yeah, build something like the home base where you have just everything.
Mm-hmm.
We have, posts like on Patreon. We have subscriptions like on Patreon. In
Mm-hmm.
there, you have your videos in there, like going to be in there.
Yeah.
Um, so again, if you have like a huge Patreon base, what you want to do is, called, rolling restoration.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also into cars, so that's pretty cool that you have that channel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. That's I've loved my whole life guns and cars. Yeah, guns and cars. And the ladies, but I'm married, so I mean, I'm semi-retired on that front.
Mm.
I'm semi-retired somewhat, I mean, the only lady I could love now is Lola. That's it. That's all I got, Which is a lot. It's a lot. I don't want to get in trouble. It's too cold here, you know, to be sleeping in the doghouse, but
You've
yeah.
been saying all the right things so far.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I could never say. I'm gonna pretty much Oh, I hear Lola opening the sliding door of the van right now. What's up, Lola?
It dropped.
Oh, did our thing drop? I thought we're still broadcasting. I think we're still broadcasting. Are we feeding out to people again?
Yep.
Okay, all right. I don't know. All right. Um. Oh, the fun adventures. I think we're back. I think we're back feeding to people. Let us know. Let me see if I could actually open this up. I believe we are feeding to the folks out there. If you guys can hear us, let us know. Once I have to go back again and see if I could open up the chat. Let me see if I can open the chat here.
Chat for you here.
Uh, let's see. I believe, and there's people sending me messages through Superphone. Yeah, Ricardo, I got your message. Folks are telling me on on the phone app that it should be back up for anyone who's watching. I believe it's back up. I think we're back up. We'll see. I don't know. I don't actually see anything feeding through on what I'm putting here, but I can see people in the chat for sure.
All right, now there's video.
Oh, there's video? Okay. Oh, man.
You got video
All right,
now.
so there you go. All right, so hopefully we have that worked. I don't know. I don't know, Edward. I think that we're back.
Yep.
Vanessa Kitty says hi. I finally got it to come on. Okay, cool. All right, so I believe that we're back out there feeding out to the folks once again, and that was probably 100% my fault.
But
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
it's just, I think it might be a bandwidth issue. So
Yeah,
um, maybe it's Ecamm. I'm not sure. There
I
seems to be
think it was.
a
I think it was my phone. I think it was my because I'm using cell phone signal here to do everything. And you're actually coming through better now, I notice, and I did do something to fix it.
That's
So
good.
the rest of this should be fine. I hope. Well, fingers crossed. I don't. I have no idea. We'll see. We'll work it out, and we'll. I guess I'll wind up having to stitch the two parts together.
Yeah, it's
Um,
possible.
yeah, it's probably what I'll have to do, but I should be able to do that. That shouldn't be too far out of my wheelhouse to be able to do. Yeah,
That
and
that actually brings up a good something that thought of, which is
mhm,
actually live streaming on Utreon, because you can handle weapons. Actually, you can even
mhm,
fire them,
mhm,
and then downloading the video
mhm.
and then uploading it to YouTube as just a normal video,
Yeah, that's my plan.
and
Yeah.
and then you get the ad monetization.
Yeah,
So
that's the plan. That's what I plan on doing. It's a little bit. It's a it's probably going to be a pain, but I think it'll be worth it if we could. Once we figure all of this out, I think the reason even earlier you were breaking up and you're not breaking up as much now, and I think that was on me. I wasn't using the right internet device.
hmm.
So
Okay, well,
so
good that
that's a
it's
big
working.
part of it. You need to make sure that your internet stuff. And I should have, when I saw that, I should have said, "Oh, maybe I'm not doing something right here," and I should have gotten that sorted out. But look, it's the first time we're doing it. This is how it goes. You know,
Yeah.
it bees like this sometimes. This is just how it is sometimes. So as a reward to you guys, I'll share with you guys another gun that we have out there. So I mean, I'm not even gonna mess around with you guys. Hudson H9. I don't know how many people out there dislike the Hudson H9, but I definitely always liked it when it first came out. It was literally like a $1,200 gun, I think. You know, like a modernization, I guess you could say, of a 1911 kind of a thing. So Hudson H9. And there's a whole long story to this gun. Like, I actually got this from Dilspec works at a gun store, which I forget the name of, in Kentucky, and he knew I was looking out for one of these, young Dylan, and he got in touch with me. He said, "Hey man, I have one of these. If you want it, you can have it." And when they sent it here, the box, whoever owned this gun before was like crazy smoker, and the box smelled like cigarette smoke. It doesn't anymore, for anyone who's interested, who wants to know. I actually figured out how to get all the cigarette smoke smell out of the box. Let's see. Gun. Yeah, the gun's got a little bit, but not so bad. Not so bad. It smells more like gun oil and stuff like that. So there we go. Hudson H9. Look, I can actually rub it. Oh, look at that. I can touch it and everything. You know. I guess if so, like you're saying, even we could fire guns and things like that. So, for example, how I have my own range here, I could do some videos where I go live from the range. I'm not going to do that at 8 o'clock at night necessarily. Although I actually could. I actually could. I think my neighborhood doesn't have a noise ordinance until 10 p.m. But
Yeah.
I would put suppressors on there. So, yeah, there we go. Hudson H9. A future classic, a future classic. This company is Hudson is out of business. I believe I've heard that Daniel Defense is going to be making their own version of the H9 at some point in the future, but there you go. I don't know if we have any questions or anything like that coming in on these. I have one more gun that I will share with the folks out there before we get out of here. We've still got an hour to go. So,
Well, I knew what it was, because everybody
mhm,
knows what an MP5 is, but I had never heard
mhm.
of that.
Oh, the Hudson. Okay. Yeah, it was really expensive. I mean, the box alone, these guys must have paid a couple of $100 just to do the box. And it was the Hudson. This was the first time they were putting this gun out, so
Hmm.
it was just a real expensive endeavor, and they, in very short space of time, went out of business. So I've never fired that one. I have shot Hudsons before in the past. So let me see. I'm trying to check the questions and comments here. Um, Vanessa Kitty wants to know. She says also, will the show only be here now and not YouTube? So I think as we were talking about, as Ed and myself were talking about here, what we're gonna do is the show will go live on Utreon, and then I will record it as I'm doing right now, and I will put it uh, pre-recorded on YouTube. So if you want to see it live, if you want to join us, hang out with us, ask questions and things like that, partake in gorn. That's like gun porn. That's what we call gun porn here. So if you want to partake in that, where we show you guns and things like that, it'll all be live here on Utreon, and then later on people can watch it on YouTube. So, and of course you can listen to it later as well. Once we publish it to for the podcasts and all that kind of stuff, you guys can listen to it as well. So that's pretty much how it's going to go.
You be adding so you create a show in your channel and a show is kind of like a playlist.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have multiple shows,
Mm-hmm.
make it possible so that you can actually set a show to be a podcast.
Okay.
Will automatically turn all those videos um and actually podcast RSS or XML.
Oh, really?
And be
Okay. And it'll
so
send out
we're
the RSS feed. It'll create the RSS
exactly.
feed. Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, that's another feature that really, if you think of that years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
they're
Yeah.
just off the ball.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me go back and see if there's any other questions. I don't know if there were any other questions you wanted to ask us. Uh, let's see what else we got going in here. Mech AG94 says my H9 has a cutout for a 1911 thumb safety. That might be an interesting mod. Maybe 10 millimeter. Okay.
That's
Um,
another thing where YouTube is really um they consider everything to be you could scotch tape a pencil
mhm.
to your gun and they'd call it a mod.
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube came out with new rules for firearms. Is basically the same old rules. I don't know if you keep
Mm.
up with any of that stuff, but they did come out with new rules for firearm stuff. I was taking a look at it last week. It's the same. It's the same old thing. They could basically hit you for whatever they want. Even in their rules, it's like, yeah, we have these rules and maybe some other ones if we think about them later. We want to add more. We want to add more
Yeah,
stuff to there that we don't like.
I think it was like a week ago or so, and
Hmm.
it did a big Facebook post about
Hmm.
started promoting Patreon channel more because he he's really he sort of sees what's like they're eventually gonna say you know assault weapons like that invented
Hmm.
is banned now. Like you can kind of see where this is going.
Yeah, I think there is a rule. I'm trying to see if I could pull up those rules. I had them here from last week, but I think there was a rule about how many rounds. Let's see. Let me see if I could pull up something here. Just so we can go through it here quickly if you want. We could talk about it. Let's see. I'm trying to. No, is this it? Yeah, this is some of it. This is some of it in here. So there's firearm specific rules. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at this one. So firearms related content. Content focused on sale, assembly, abuse, or misuse of real or fake firearms is not suitable for advertising. So even if it's a fake, you can turn on ads for this content. Non or semi-automatic unmodified guns shown in a safe environment, like a shooting range or a clear open area as to not endanger bystanders or property owned by others. Firearm, paintball, gun assembly, disassembly for the purpose of repair or maintenance. Responsible use of airsoft or ball bullets or BB guns. So you can do some assembly, I guess, and disassembly, which was different. You couldn't do that before. I guess they're giving that back to us. Some examples of content that also falls into this category: discussions on gun legislation or the issue of gun control, gun reviews, and demonstrations, content featuring optical scopes and silencers, prop guns when not used to harm a person. Okay. You can turn on ads, but only You can turn on ads, but only brands who opt in will run ads. Use of guns outside of a controlled environment. So, I mean, all the stuff that we do is in controlled environments. And it says you should turn off ads for this content. Content that shows gun creation or modification, including assembly or disassembly. So they just reverse what they said in the other thing. Promotes gun
Yeah.
makers or sellers or facilitates the sale of minors using guns without adult supervision. Content showing guns modified with bump stocks or hair triggers. What's a hair? HAIR. That, by the way, that's in this thing that I just looked at here. It says hair, HAIR. So, hair triggers, hair. Okay, that's like a fine, like if you whisper on the trigger, it goes off. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess that would be the definition of that, right? Hair triggers. Okay.
So did they? Does that mean they reversed everything? Like,
Yeah, it's because this is the opposite of what they said above here when I was reading this. Thermal night vision or infrared content showing guns modified with bump stocks or hair triggers. Thermal night vision or infrared sights, or using thermal, explosive, or incendiary ammunition. So you can't even show like your thermal stuff anymore. Content featuring large capacity magazines, 30 rounds or more. So if your magazine has 30 rounds or more, which is a standard magazine problem, attached or separate from a gun, content featuring fully automatic guns or guns modified to fire more than one round on a single trigger pull. I don't know why that would be a problem. The machine guns are legal for certain people to own, so I don't see, like, there's quite a few people that legally own machine guns, including manufacturers. Some examples of content that also falls into this category: guides as to how to add bump stocks to a firearm, recommendations of top gun manufacturers or firms in which to purchase firearms. Like, what? So you can't say, "Oh, I like these guys; they make good guns."
yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah, it's basically no. You can't do any gun stuff. That's what all of this is. Referring users directly to a site facilitating gun sales. That's a problem to them. Promotions of the sale of a firearm or component, including but not limited to sale of a firearm related part or component that is essential to or enhances the functionality of a firearm, including 80% finished gun parts, ammunition clips, silencers, ammunition belts, stocks, conversion kits, gun grips, scopes, sights. Videos which promote content for gun stores. Videos which promote manufacturers or discount codes for gun stores. Videos containing firearm making instructions. Example: replicable gun assembly, disassembly, or steps on gun modifications. Guides or software or equipment for 3D printing of guns or gun parts. Assembly/disassembly of a firearm for the purpose of modification. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Their rules are you can't do any gun stuff, I think.
Well, the problem is everyone's just terrified. Like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of creators are telling me they just wake up every morning, they check their phone to see if their channel's still there,
Mm-hmm.
and even if if let's say something is by a normal rating seems to be allowed, you're going to risk getting channel strikes, and then if you get through, you're game over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it seems. You know, uh, I don't know, man. They've been going through and deleting people's videos. So there's been videos that are just getting removed. Um, and it just seems to me like this just allows more of that, you know?
yeah.
And in one hand, they're saying, okay, you could show disassembly or reassembly for the purpose of cleaning, but then they're the arbitrators of whether or not you're doing that because they also say that you can't show that. So,
I, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the principle of the low posted speed limit. If
hmm
the speed limit is so low that everybody speeds, then the cop is basically deciding who's a criminal today.
hmm
They're just gonna decide, oh, you're breaking this rule.
yeah,
They can basically make up what they want.
yeah. And then there's more stuff that we could go over here. I don't know if people want to go through that or not, but there's more rules and stuff like that. There's a YouTube or support from YouTube section that we saw here, firearms policy. So there's a video there. I'm not gonna play that video and then have them hit it. So uh, So it says this is for the safety of our creators, viewers, and partners. Our highest priority. We look at each of you to help us protect this unique and vibrant community. Okay, well, that's not true. Content intended to sell firearms, instruct viewers on how to make firearms, ammunition, and certain accessories, or instruct viewers on how to install those accessories is not allowed on YouTube. YouTube shouldn't be used as a platform to sell firearms or accessories noted below. YouTube also doesn't allow live streams that show someone holding, handling, or transporting a firearm. What this means for
Here,
you? Yeah, go ahead.
here's the crazy thing. Othais, he literally and he went through this again.
hmm
I get this, as a relative novice, but he was basically explaining, yeah,
hmm
if you buy a firearm online, that's literally the quote unquote safest way to do it
hmm
because you have a background check.
Yeah,
Um, that's it's literally the safest way to do it. Why are they,
yeah. I mean
concerned?
that the manufacturer of that firearm has to send it to an FFL. They can't just send it to your house. It has to go
Yeah.
to an FFL. I happen to be an FFL. That FFL has to receive that, and then before they give that over to you, they have to background check you. That's just how it
Yeah,
works.
and it's technically the closest thing there is to a database. You could say it's maybe a distributed one, but
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
as
they're not
needed
supposed to be keeping a database, but they do. I think. Yeah.
probably. But I mean,
Yeah.
the bottom line is
hmm
it's actually the safest way to buy a firearm, technically,
Yeah.
if you want to call it safe.
Yeah. Um. So there's a whole long list of things that they have here, and I think if you if you read through this, it's you know, I mean, this is pretty expansive, and it pretty much covers everything. You know. Um. So, and even at the end of it, like, so I can just show you is it says what this means for you. If you're posting content, don't post content on YouTube if the purpose is to do one or more of the following. I'm gonna try to read through this. Sell firearms or certain firearms accessories through direct sales. So if you're a company, you can't even have a YouTube page. If you're a company in the firearms industry, I mean, they basically don't want you to have a YouTube page.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
go ahead.
But we're getting in touch with
hmm
and yeah, it just makes total open up their channels on Utreon.
Yeah.
Get around this.
Yeah. So it says or links to sites that sell these items. These accessories may include accessories that enable a firearm to simulate automatic fire, accessories that convert a firearm to automatic fire, such as bump stocks, Gatling triggers, drop-in auto sears, or conversion kits. High capacity magazines or belts carrying more than 30 rounds, provides instructions on manufacturing any of the following: firearms, ammunition, high capacity magazines, homemade silencers slash suppressors, accessories that enable a firearm to simulate automatic fire, accessories that convert a firearm to automatic. They're very concerned with this automatic fire. Provide instructions on how to convert a firearm. Provides instructions on how to install the above mentioned accessories. Please note, this is not a complete list, and then they have a whole bunch of things in here. I'm going to stop because it looks like Lola is texting me a bunch of stuff. Lola wants to know, does these policies affect, does politics, affect Utreon in any other way? And what content do you guys have on Utreon right now, other than us gun guys? What else? What other kind of stuff do you guys?
So our goal from the start was to basically create something where, a general platform, not like a niche guns, or it's just tech, or it's just game, something where you can have everything. To check out our topics page, there's a whole bunch of topics. Firearms is actually between food and whatever. Like, there's a whole bunch of topics.
What's the highest ranking topic that you guys have?
Right now we have a lot of people, a lot of gaming, of tech. I would say firearms is probably in the top 5. I would say right now. But yeah, I mean, like, you go to the front page and it's a general platform, sort of like YouTube. What we want to be, we don't want to be like just one thing. In terms of politics, yeah, we have politics. Our goal is to actually politics and to not together officially or unofficially. Our goal is to just be like a platform. Content is up to you guys.
Yeah. And hopefully it stays that way. I mean, I don't know whether or not you guys can give. I don't think you can. I don't think you can give assurances to the fact that you'll stay that way. I hope that you do stay that way. I think it's gonna probably be a better business plan to stay that way versus what a lot of these platforms are doing.
I mean, we built this is to be that way. We're privately, we're, that's basically our mission. Never guarantee, I don't know what's in 20 years or whatever, right? But the certainly the goal and the opening in the market is to be this way, and that's the mission from the start. So, YouTube used to be a lot better 10 years ago before they started cracking down on just about and they're getting the policy wrong. It's openings. If we were to get policy, that would create openings too.
Yeah, and I think a big way that they're getting it wrong, is if you look at people like myself, and lots of other folks who are out there, we're actually doing a service for folks who are interested in firearms. We're pointing them in the direction of firearms that are safe. We're giving them lots of different information about firearms. How do you safely clean these things, service them? How do you figure out which ones are the ones for you? Where are the places you go to train? Things that you should know about this stuff. I'm not like, and I've got no problem with it, right? I came out of the hip hop world a long time ago. I did a lot of independent stuff. I grew up, in hip hop music. But just as an example, there's rappers out there that show a lot of crazy, unsafe stuff, in their music videos or just the videos that they post where they're handling firearms. There's lots of people that handle firearms and show lots of unsafe stuff, and don't really give people lots of good information. And a lot of that stuff is still allowed, but you've got not just YouTube, but other platforms out there going directly after the people who their practice is to show folks, to give people information, show them how to use things safely and properly, and how to find out, the right info or the right things that they're looking for in this world. And that just seems to not be a logical thing to do unless you just, as a policy, hate guns so much that you're like, yeah, we just don't want anything on there. It's like saying that we don't want people to make videos showing people how to buy cars, or what's a safe car, or
Yeah,
showing folks how to drive a car.
yeah, it makes no sense. In the in the land of the Second Amendment, literally.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just someone saying, so can we go to a certain chapter? Um, on this platform, Patreon, yeah, you can say that. You're gonna be uploading this to YouTube. I don't know exactly. Is it you can't say that? You can't say that on a, probably you can't say that on a video.
Yeah. What was the question? Oh, can we say go to Brownells on here? Yeah. Um, so yeah, for sure, I believe on Utreon we could say that, and I don't think that's going to be a problem here. I don't think that there's anything that we could safely say or do on YouTube. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's
So at one point or another, they're going to hit us with something. So even if we're not handling guns or whatever it is, they're going to go, oh no, you talked about this, we don't like that, you had this company come on the show, that means to us that you're trying to get people to buy stuff from this company. I just don't think I think that our time on platforms like YouTube is incredibly limited, and we're just on a place like YouTube or Facebook by their mercy and grace right now.
uh, at some point they're gonna pull the. That's why creators bias and Tim and a lot
Hmm.
of the heavy hitters are right now. They're looking at actually helping us get helping themselves and helping us actually
Hmm.
create this harbor
Hmm.
where we can actually communities over.
Hmm.
We saw something where Channel A would people, hey, come support me on Utreon, more of the money. Also, their policy's way better. I'd prefer support me there than on
Hmm.
Patreon.
Hmm.
Found is if Channel A is doing that, then Channel B is getting subscriptions,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? CN Arsenal is telling people to come over for gun weapon subscriptions on
Yeah.
Utreon.
Yeah.
So the splash effect that you don't see on Patreon. If you were to tell people to go come support you on Patreon, another channel's not going to get any subscriptions from find it because you can't find it. Like Patreon's
Hmm.
like a walled space.
Hmm.
So we think like that's a huge, and that's sort of the way that we can network effects as a video platform. Build the network effects by getting, the Patreon support and is engaged
Hmm.
first.
Yeah. I think that's in in the long run, from us all doing this, or I know everyone's not doing it right now, but I think as we start to come on board and make ultimately the audience is the most important thing. So I think that the audience is probably the most important in order of importance. I would put the audience at number one, and then the platform. Even though it's like a chicken and an egg thing, right? You need the platform, but you could build a platform all you want to and put all the awesome features on there. If you don't actually have people coming through and looking at those things, I mean, those are real numbers that you guys can't fudge, right? You can't hide that. People can see the traffic.
Correct. And kind of like, what's more important, engine, the steering rack, or the chat, or the driver? Well, you
Hmm.
kind of need all of those for the go.
Yeah.
Um, in this case, we made it so that nobody can really take YouTube on because they have all the people there.
Hmm.
What we can do is take Patreon on because we
Hmm.
can make it a no-brainer to send people to set a Patreon.
Hmm.
And then they have those people there and all those communities there, then more and more we're actually starting to be able to look towards YouTube on a whole. That's
Hmm.
like sort of beyond the horizon right now. Now
Yeah.
is live streaming is Patreon than YouTube because more of it, and you can actually, especially within guns, you can actually show them and demo them and do normal things with them. And then with to Patreon, we have just way better. We worked on making it sort of a no-brainer position for creators to push Patreon instead of Patreon
Hmm.
and to do the live that they've never been able to do
Hmm.
on YouTube. And the rest kind of solves. through that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the main thing.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see if there's any other questions from folks out there or any other comments we need to get to.
Lola is asking about these platforms are expensive. Several have come and gone. Where financial
Mhm.
backing for Utreon? So Utreon is it's half owned by myself and my business partner Sean Duncombe. He's a
Mhm.
we have a few small investors. We're well capitalized, and yeah, like a lot of the platforms or people taking on YouTube that have come and gone. It's kind of like they were doing two things wrong, probably more than two things. But one
Mhm.
of the things is trying to take on YouTube directly. So, for example, allowing anyone to sign up and upload video. We actually have a process when we sign up, and we do review channels. And because we actually do need to stay financially and things have to make sense, we do review the channel that apply, and we accept the ones that we think have eventually, revenue generating potential.
Mhm.
YouTube, their thing, they'll take absolutely everything, so they're kind of internet's video dumpster.
Yeah.
And of
But they
course,
don't want everyone. It's a weird kind of thing. Like they'll let anyone sign up, but they don't really want anyone. And a lot of what I see YouTube doing lately is they're biased towards certain corporations, news media outlets, and Hollywood studios or just personalities.
100%.
Mhm.
They're pushing corporate content, and you
Mhm.
can really see that with. They actually had like a credit score that they're giving every channel that got published. People
Mm.
were the source code. I think it was 2 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And so they were definitely doing that, and they probably still are. It's just not published anymore. And it
Mhm.
was pretty clear that they were manually giving these high credit scores or whatever that they would be to political stuff or stuff that's corporate that they like.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, we do none of that. And it's funny. Like they're really clamping down on channels that actually would make a lot of money. A lot of firearms channels, if they could advertise
Mhm.
properly, and
Mhm.
do stuff that's totally legal, those would be huge revenue generation machines.
Mhm.
But because they're owned by Google, and really what matters to Google, AdSense, Google, people think it's a search engine, it's really an advertising company.
Mhm.
Their policies are just in some places they're leaving enormous amounts of money on the table just because for I guess political or internal reasons.
Yeah.
Um, and for us that's a huge opportunity to serve those communities.
Yeah, and in general, along those same lines, I think that content has gotten really super preachy. All the content that falls into those categories have gotten super preachy. And I don't really want that. I think even, look, to give you an example, even when it comes to news, you would think like a person like myself, I would want to see Fox News, right? Because I'm supposed to be in the conservative category. I don't like CNN. I don't even watch CNN or these other places unless I have absolutely no choice. But to me, Fox News is one of their partners that they push out there. And they have a specific spin that they put on everything. I don't want that either you know and so a lot of the content that they think is okay out there is getting too preachy for people regardless of what side people are on. I think ultimately people just want to see a certain kind of content. They don't want to be preached to. They don't want like certain ideologies and things like that shoved down their throat. They just want to be entertained, or they want to get information on these things and figure out what's going on. And I think that they're making a massive mistake in the direction that they're going, because every time you get smacked with that, with that stick of preachiness, you could tell we're not stupid. We could tell when someone's pushing us in a direction. I think that makes us go, okay, where else could I go to here? Honestly, I wish that I didn't have to go to YouTube and even other things that I use. When I was asking folks about what they use to watch this and look at most of their stuff, I like to use my TV. A lot of times when I'm editing stuff, I spend a lot of time sitting down editing content that I've made, right? Especially if you run 3 different channels. And I find it tough to look at a lot of like stuff that I pay for, on Netflix. Uh, I pay for that. I find it tough to look at Amazon Prime or, any of these other things, right? And so it would be great if I could turn someplace and just be entertained. I just want to see these car videos. I just want to see these gun videos. Oh, the news. I want to see what's happening in the news. Just give it to me straight. I don't need it skewed in any one direction. I just need to know what happened. And I think this is where ultimately a lot of these platforms are going to go the way of MySpace, because they're going to make themselves not cool anymore. People are going to turn away from them. Do you guys are you guys at Utreon making any plans to be able to get onto like smart TVs or
Yes. So
okay.
next year, so this year we worked on getting the apps out, so the
Mhm.
iOS and the Android app.
Mhm.
Next year we're going to be working on the Android TV, meaning and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and also on the Apple TV app.
Okay.
So that's going to be happening next year. Um,
Mhm.
in terms of like where we see YouTube going is our analysis is they want to become more like a Netflix.
Mhm.
Um, so that's sort of the direction they're going in.
Mhm.
And they want to leave behind user generated, how they started.
Mhm.
For us, we just see this massive opening,
Yeah.
um,
Okay,
and
cool.
we're doing all the right things to set up.
Yeah, I look forward to that. That'll be great. Okay, let me see. There's a couple of what is this? Cruiseman says take 5 minute clips from this show and put them on YouTube. So we were doing that. We've been doing that in the past. So my main channel, Hank Strange, has a lot of that, and that's where we would pull stuff out. And I've kind of like backed off from that just from the things I've seen happening with that channel. We're always creating gun videos, and we have obviously we're doing the podcast and all that. But sometimes when you're putting things up and you could see that these places are deliberately ghosting you and blocking you off from your audience, it's just really discouraging. So, like, what I've decided to do is take some time and look around and see who I can find out there. I've done this before in the past. And that's the risk that we're taking here, because I think Lola mentioned that. Companies will come along and we think, "Oh man, this could be the savior." And then it doesn't necessarily work out. We have to take these risks though. So,
Yeah, so there's a few video part of what they did wrong is one, they were taking on YouTube and like just hosting tons and tons and tons of content. Like there's something called they just started as like upload a video and then they let everybody upload. And towards the end of their run, they realized, hey, wait, we need rev. They
mhm.
tried like implementing
What was
stuff
the name of that
to
platform you said? I missed it.
VidMe. It was called VidMe. It
VidMe?
actually
Okay.
bubbled. Yeah, it actually bubbled pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't thinking of revenue at the start.
Mm-hmm.
We've approached this of let's think of revenue. Revenue is super important to creators.
Mm-hmm.
You can't create this content without. So we've been approaching that, making it so you can actually use us as Patreon replacement for your subscription services, making it so you can have the ultra making it so that we're going to be able to have ads, and then we're working on lining that all up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've approached this to do that from the start.
Mm-hmm.
By taking on channel monetizable and also creating the tools from us, and also growing the services, everything out pretty smartly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're really resilient and we're what we're doing. And I've heard of there's I won't mention by name, but there's a platform that was made just for us. And I've just heard everybody told me about mismanagement with people didn't like the fact that it was like just guns.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to create this
Mm-hmm.
just you funneled yourselves into like some. You want to be on a general platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it should be, and that's what we're. So yeah, like we're doing stuff really well with the tech and the thing's great, and barring that bug with now that we're gonna fix by tomorrow, like we've been doing at getting all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff deployed and be reliable for you guys, and um you guys build your communities and do.
Yeah, everything starts at zero, and YouTube started at zero, and YouTube wasn't perfect in the beginning. Maybe we just didn't know, like in the beginning of this, if you rewind, we didn't have all the features that we have not just on YouTube but other places, and so we really didn't know what to expect. Everyone was like, "Oh, so how is this going to be a thing?" It was a smaller window that you were looking at in terms of video and all that, and over time, it got better. I think when you talk about the other alternatives that have come along from folks trying to have platforms specifically targeted to the gun world, funding is always a big thing problem that people run into. You
Mm.
just have to be able to pay for this. And if you are limiting your audience to just the folks in the gun world, that's a smaller pool. Granted, there should be a lot of people, I think, in America that are gun folks, but it's a smaller pool and it's harder to work to get those people versus, you have better chance of discovery in a wider pool. If people are going to a video platform to look at motorcycle videos or pickup truck videos, it's highly likely that maybe they're also interested in guns, perhaps.
Yeah, and we should talk about your car channel on.
Hmm.
I'm a car guy,
Okay, for
but
sure.
yeah, like definitely
Hmm.
building something where you're actually going to effects because I came here first, but now I'm finding guns and I like
Hmm.
guns. That's this virtuous cycle that you want to build up to
Hmm.
work effects. It doesn't work to just do one niche website. Sometimes it could. Twitch was just built on gaming,
Hmm.
and that went fantastically well for them. But
Hmm.
generally speaking, we want to be, everything, just a general platform.
Well, if you do a specific thing, so many things have to fall into place. You have to have a big, massive audience there ready to sign up to that thing. And what I'm saying, like, you've got, I don't even know if 5 million people is enough. I guess if those 5 million people were coming every day, it would be good. But to have a chance of getting 5 million people to come through every day, I don't know what the statistics are on Utreon. We could probably go over that next. But to get 5 million people, you probably need a pool of maybe 100 million people to get
Yeah.
5 million people in every day.
So if we were competing directly with, it would be like relevant the question of
Hmm.
where are your millions, right? Like
Hmm.
where are people? And then you have this weird chicken and egg thing and have
Hmm.
that because we're competing on,
Hmm.
you know, a lot of creators every day just say, "Hey, you want to support me? Go subscribe to me, join my Patreon to support the
Hmm.
channel." They do every day.
Hmm.
We dramatically beat Patreon's prices, and then we make it a no-brainer to say to people instead of promoting Patreon, we're really gonna like ban you once they this guns are no good anymore.
Hmm.
No, promote a service that actually fair and actually gives you a way better deal, and
Hmm.
live streaming that you basically can't do on YouTube. And
Hmm.
we just make that a no-brainer. And then actually, and they're starting now. Let's see, an Arsenal, Mac. We're working with all the
Hmm.
other, and we're talking to the
Hmm.
heavy hitters. If you actually search on Utreon, you'll actually start finding them,
Hmm.
sort of activating them to use this more actively. But once they're actually using us Patreon substitute,
Hmm.
that's when you start those network effects where it's like, hey, well, actually, a gun community is already here, and simultaneously, Utreon's been doing that with the gaming people and the comedy people, and that's what we're on the side as well.
Hmm.
And that's how you sort of just build that up, and then at some point, numbers like big audiences, and there's actual discovery because huge amounts of people, and then that becomes relevant, supercharges us versus the
Hmm.
Patreon that everything is walled in. So
Okay.
that's some for the horizon, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah, you have to start getting those folks to live on the platform. And I see what you're saying. Like typically for people to be very successful on Patreon, they really need to be talking to those folks every day.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
if you look at our first page where we basically tell creators what
Hmm.
on YouTube, we say like extend YouTube channel by
Mm-hmm.
using us instead of Patreon or Subscribestar or whatever you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we actually have had creators where they would like, they'd have pretty big channels and they'd close them
Mm-hmm.
and Utreon, and we're like, whoa, wait, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to keep, that's like the engine right now.
Yeah.
Where you have all the people. And the goal is to slowly, that rolling restoration analogy, slowly get them over onto Utreon for the services and the live streaming, and eventually, yeah, you know what? If YouTube, takes puts the hammer down to all the gun content, eventually, it's like, well, we were actually ready for that, and not a problem. So
Yeah.
what we're building. That's what.
Yeah, you know what? I would, as a strategy, I would use every single platform that exists to let you uh, post stuff, and then use that to funnel your people over forever until the end of time.
Yeah,
Or until those
there's
platforms are just totally empty and there's no one over there. When there's no one there, you can go, okay, well, I'm not gonna, But everything is a
yeah.
way to get folks over, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a limit to things one person can manage, or
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't want Lola to have to manage like things, right?
Yeah.
But we think that what we're doing is comprehensive. We mission is pretty like far-seeing in terms of what we accomplish. I think what
Mm-hmm.
we're doing in terms of the implementation is really good. And we were invited to the range day event like a
Mm-hmm.
month with Iraq veteran, and we met
Mm-hmm.
everybody. And I think we're really establishing strong link contacts within different communities, and making sure that we're building something with their input, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
but also something one to benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see if folks have any other questions out there. We've still got about 10 minutes here that we're going to be going, so I'm going to take a look here at the chat. Let's see who's out there right now and what questions folks have. I do have one more gun that I could share with you guys here. I mean, I got tons of guns, but I brought like 3 of them in here so that I could share with everyone. Let's see. Let's look through here and see. I don't know if you see any comments coming up. Um,
Someone is asking basically about COVID.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There are no rules around that. You can say whatever you like.
Yeah. Um, so have you guys had an occasion to kick anyone off of Utreon? Has that happened yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not exactly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not exactly. We do have a situation, like we do have rules.
Mhm.
Some of these people trying to make alternative forms, they've, their take was YouTube censorship, therefore we do the opposite of censorship, which is absolutely no rules unless you're literally breaking the law.
Mhm.
Um, the problem with that is that, you know, a platform with literally no rules kind of ends up as a dumpster fire.
Mhm.
Um, and then the problem is you're completely cut out of the monetary system. You can't do any transaction. It's really
Mhm.
you basically succeed whatsoever, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
There's a logical window of stuff that you can do, which is way wider than YouTube,
Mhm.
without like going into that mode where you're just trying to do the opposite of YouTube and you end up shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
So we do have rules that are enumerated. We don't allow anything associated with let's see, like there's like a list that enumerates certain organizations that are just not allowed.
Yeah, you're not trying to be Pornhub, I'm going to assume. Not that I'm
Right.
planning on getting into that business anytime soon.
Exactly.
You
So
know.
yeah, we're not trying to do that.
Mhm.
We're trying to be a YouTube with way better policies, just
Mhm.
smarter policies. Sweat out the details, be more nuanced, understand the communities that are on here,
Mhm.
um, and uh, yeah, so we did have some people that were putting on literal neo-Nazi content, and
Mhm.
we had to tell them like and it was like a music review, and so we had to tell them, look, we can't have those videos on there.
Mhm.
Um, and and yeah, so they just decided to close their channel. That has happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're just very open and transparent about it, and we're trying to build something that can actually work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think ultimately, I mean, there's people who probably want to be able to say whatever they want to say, and I get that. I think you can say whatever you want to say, and probably do whatever you want to do up until the extent that it affects other people. But ultimately, I think those of us who are content creators trying to make it on YouTube, here on Utreon, or any just in general in the world, we're not looking to be able to do anything and do whatever, right? We have our own rules and our own lines of where we want to go to. I think the problem is that we already have these rules and we practice them and we live by them, but then there's just arbitrary rules being put on us, um, by places like YouTube. And I don't think it's going to stop with gun guys. I think one day we were talking about cars. I think one day you'll see car guys coming over because these places will go, hey, you know what? If you're making videos about, internal combustion engines, that's terrible. You are not allowed, you know,
Can you
to show.
imagine?
I think it will happen. I think it will happen, and I think that in order to force the world into thinking a specific way, you have to do those kinds of things, and that's why we see that happening. But I think human beings will push back against that. Um,
100%. And we're trying to be part of the solution.
yeah, I think we're seeing it already. That not necessarily that YouTube is going after the car channels, but I think we see that there are people going after car channels, car makers. I know there are some guys out there that modify cars that tune them, for example. They were getting tickets and all that kind of stuff, and it's only a matter of time before someone, like when these guys sit down in a committee and they're like, what can we do about all these combustion engines that people want to drive around here, making all this noise and looking sexy? Oh, you know what? Let's ban them. That's how we'll do
It,
it.
you're seeing cities, especially cities in Europe, that are actually banning combustion engines.
Hmm.
Who knows? Like it sounds completely, but it's crazy that you can't build a gun on a video. Why not?
Hmm.
It's legal to own them.
Hmm.
Just makes literally no sense. Like you can show a video you can show a video of a computer being built. I've seen, physics, like a video on YouTube. It's a physics professor at like MIT, and he's basically explaining how like a basic atomic bomb works, like the one used in
Hmm.
the two used in World War II. So it's
Hmm.
like they're kind of building an atomic bomb, but you can't. This is how you build a revolver. Like,
Hmm.
why? It makes absolutely no sense.
Hmm. It's just ways of controlling people and forcing people into thinking a certain way. So, I think that, um, human beings, we don't want that. Regardless of what side you're on, some people might agree with it because they're against those things, but eventually that sword cuts both ways, and folks will find those things coming back. Cruiseman says I need a gun rack in the window. Um, yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. Could put a gun rack back here,
Are
right
are you
there
in charge of the decoration in the van?
in the van. Yes, kind of, sort of. Unless Lola comes in here, if she gets into a mood, then no. I'm in charge of it when I put it here, but I'm not in charge of it when Lola removes it necessarily.
Okay, so she's the boss.
Uh, yeah. Well, it comes down to is how miserable or how much do I want to fight with Lola? That's really what it comes down to. Sometimes I'm up for a good fight, and then sometimes I'm like, oh no, 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 no. So I just go along with it. That's what I do. Are you
Yeah,
married? Are you married?
no, I'm engaged. So my
Okay, you'll
fiance,
find out.
well, I'm finding out. My fiance got me to in the area where the dining room, I had my
Hmm.
office,
Hmm.
and was just full of boxes.
Hmm.
So she got me to move my office into my den and actually get a dining table.
Hmm.
And I can't hate it because it's eminently reasonable. So
Yeah.
she's getting her way. She's
Yeah. there's this old saying, happy wife, happy life, you know. Lola's always complaining about, I've got boxes and guns and things all over the place. If I'm not here, Lola cleans up and throws stuff out or moves things, you know, stuff gets, there's places that she's just like, yeah, all of your crap is going over here. And I don't even want to go into those places sometimes. I'm like, oh wait, this is way too much stuff. So let me show this off here in the waning minutes here of the show. Look at this sexy box right here, you know. FN comes in some good packaging. So I had an FN 5.7 pistol in the past. When I first started my channel, I had one. I also had a PS90. Now, the thing that happened with that is that, you know, to make these videos, you have to, you know, you got to sell guns. You know, you buy guns, you make the videos, and then to make other videos, you got to get other guns. So somehow you got to sell those guns. So I wound up selling my 5.7 pistol. And recently, I got a 5.7 pistol again. So here we go. I don't know if you're familiar with these. The 5.7 round is pretty fast moving. I hear tell that the Secret Service dudes have these. And what are these? These are like 20 round magazines with some pretty fast moving projectiles that come out of these things, man. That you know, can punch. They could punch through body armor and stuff like that. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Come on, focus in here. Let's see. Maybe it's too. Okay, there we go. Maybe I'm going in too close. So, flat dark earth, 5.7 pistol. I'm glad to have one again. I'm really a big fan of these. I know Ruger came out recently with the Ruger 5.7 pistol, which is a lot more affordable than this. I'll give it that. And then also there's some ARs that are out there that use the same magazine. There's some that use the PS90 magazine that goes on top. I'm not so sure if I'm a big fan of those, but yeah. That, I have not been able to share that with the people since I got my hands on it, and it is a awesome, beautiful gun. Relatively lightweight and powerful. So, to me, one of the coolest guns I've had in the past, and I'm happy to get my hands on one again. So I get to share that with the folks out there. I'm going to check and see. I know we're over the 9 o'clock hour here. I'm just going to do one quick last check and see if the folks out there have any more comments or questions before we wrap this up here. I know we've had a couple of different issues with doing this. I promise you guys, as we go forward here, I'll figure out how to use this a lot better, and we'll be able to make this work better than it does right now. Lola says, stay still and let the camera focus. Okay. And 42 Chill says, nice. Armament and Access says, dibs. So there you go. Lola says, well, thank you, Edward. Thank you for welcoming us to Utreon. We look forward to being a part of this journey to preserve the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. That's from Lola. I also want to thank you, Edward, CEO of Utreon, for coming on here. That's pretty cool. That's a big plus to me that you guys were invited to come out to some stuff. Like you went out to the IV-88. Hopefully you'll get out to some other firearms related things, and as well as you're talking to the folks like myself, so that helps.
We're talking to the folks behind Gundies, and there's a lot of news there, and we definitely want to be everywhere it's happening, and be the before more happens.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe you need to get out to SHOT Show. Are you making plans to go to SHOT Show?
No, I actually. I'm a novice to all this, but
oh, okay.
Learn more.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it. If you get in touch with the NSSF, I'm sure you can get into SHOT Show, and they should probably set up something for you guys to usually at SHOT Show they've got these different halls where they can have meetings and people could come up there. I think it would be great if the National Shooting Sports Foundation, NSSF, actually took some time out to talk to you guys, or maybe let the members that do show up at SHOT Show come out and ask you guys questions and things like that. So I'm going to wrap everything up here, and obviously we're going to try this again tomorrow. We're going to try it from now on, and we're going to try to make a go of this. I know Utreon's going to have some stuff coming along to improve this. I want to make sure I thank everyone out there that's been part of this. Edward, do you have anything that you want to tell the folks? Like if they want to communicate with you guys or find out more about Utreon, what's the way to do that?
Check Utreon.com, open an so sign up. Definitely follow Who've Moved My Podcast, follow Hank Strange. You're going to, if you go to the topics, you'll probably see some other firearms or any other topic you recognize, follow them. If you support Hank, you can support him through Utreon. We encourage, obviously, you can subscribe there. And yeah, we look forward to having you on Utreon, using Utreon. Obviously, you have direct access. We're very approachable, and anything you need, we're here to make it happen.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to roll in the end. And then actually, as a tradition, what we do here is for the end, we come back and we ask the guests to drop some words of wisdom on us. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think about that, Edward. Think about your words of wisdom here. Choose your words very carefully. Nah, just whatever words of wisdom pop into your mind you can use. So I want to thank everyone who did join us here over on Utreon and who was patient enough to hang out with us tonight. I know everything didn't work perfectly. Most of it is my fault. Yeah, probably all of it is my fault. But we'll make those things better. We'll work on that. And then also the folks here at Utreon are going to improve these things and make things a lot better. So if you guys have ideas and all that kind of stuff, let us know. I will work on the Discord stuff as well and get that up. And we are still going to, as I said, take this and put this up on YouTube. And we'll do some other things to keep promoting it. So if anyone asks you where we're at, we're on Utreon. All right, stay right there, Edward. I'm going to roll in the end here, and then we're going to come back and get some words of wisdom from you. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us here on the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. This is like, historical that we're going over to Utreon and going live from there. I want to remind everyone we are going to rip the audio out of this and throw it up on iTunes and all your favorite places to get your audio podcasts from. Big thanks to everyone out there for joining us. Big shout out to Barnauls, makers of performance steel case ammunition. We appreciate their support, as well as all the other places out there, companies that support us. We appreciate that. All right, Edward, what's your words of wisdom?
I'll quote a couple of people. One thing different, to be the change you want to see.
Absolutely. All right, thank you very much. We are out of here. You can still stay there. Don't go anywhere, Edward. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night. We're out of here. Peace. See ya.